Roger Federer calls for court speed changes to enhance tennis spectacle. Tennis legend Roger Federer has once again sparked debate in the sport by urging tournament organizers to rethink court speeds and inject more variety into the modern game. Speaking during the Laver Cup 2025, the Swiss icon stressed that adjustments to surfaces could bring back an element of unpredictability and reward players for their unique strengths. Federer's concern: return of serves too easy. Federer, who co-founded the Laver Cup back in 2017, shared his views while appearing on Serve with Andy Roddick during the event. Reflecting on how the game has evolved, he suggested that returning serve, once considered one of the toughest aspects of tennis, has become noticeably easier for today's generation. "I feel like they return so easily nowadays," Federer explained. "I don't know if the conditions are a bit slower or if the players are just that much better at it. Back in my day, making returns was a real challenge. That's why I slice a lot, just to float it in and figure things out. But now, players stand there and fire back with ease." This observation, Federer argued, points to the fact that current court conditions may not be diverse enough, reducing the tactical variety of matches. A push for more variety in tennis. When asked directly if surfaces should be altered to bring back different elements of the game, Federer did not hesitate. "Yes, definitely. I just had this conversation this morning with Reilly Opelka. I told him it's not okay, and I fault myself because I'm part of the decision-making process here at the Laver Cup. It can't be that he's serving indoors against Ruud, and the return looks almost routine. That shouldn't happen." Federer's comments underline his belief that court speeds and surface conditions play a pivotal role in shaping the spectacle. Faster surfaces would give big servers and aggressive players more of an edge, while slower courts traditionally benefit baseline grinders and counterpunchers. For the 20-time Grand Slam champion, restoring this balance could inject more excitement into the sport. Why Federer's call matters. Federer's words carry weight not just because of his legendary status, but also due to his active role as a co-founder of the Laver Cup. His influence extends beyond exhibition events. Tournament organizers around the world often take note when a player of his stature voices an opinion. The modern tennis landscape has been dominated by all-court players like Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik, who combine powerful ground strokes with athletic returns. Federer's point is that without court diversity, the game risks becoming too homogenized, making matches feel repetitive regardless of surface. Looking ahead, could change happen? While altering court speeds is no simple task, Federer's comments may reignite discussions within tennis governance about how to keep the sport entertaining for fans while challenging for players. For now, the call has been made. Court speed variety could be the next frontier in tennis innovation. As Federer continues to shape the sport off the court, his influence might pave the way for a future where every tournament feels distinctly different, just as it did during his playing career. White heavy checkmark unique angle added. Federer not only highlights the issue of return dominance, but ties it directly to the lack of surface diversity, indirectly challenging organizers to protect tennis-rich variety. Roger Federer calls out tennis chiefs. Court speeds must change. Tennis legend Roger Federer has never been afraid to speak his mind when it comes to the state of the sport. And once again, during the Laver Cup 2025, the Swiss icon made headlines, this time by taking aim at tournament directors and their decisions regarding court surfaces and ball speeds. Federer, who co-founded the Laver Cup in 2017 and remains heavily involved in its organization, admitted that the sport has grown too uniform in its playing conditions. According to him, this sameness has diminished some of the drama and variety that used to define great tennis rivalries. Federer, it shouldn't be this easy to return. Reflecting on today's game, Federer pointed to a specific moment with Reilly Opelka, one of the tallest and biggest servers in the sport. I told him it's not okay, and I fault myself because I'm part of the decision-making process here at the Laver Cup. It can't be that he's serving on the outside, indoors, against Ruud, who can go back, and even in that situation he has the option to return comfortably. That serve, which is arguably one of the best in the game right now, comes back at hip height, and Ruud passes cross-court. It should be harder than that. It shouldn't look so routine. In Federer's eyes, the problem isn't the servers or the returners. It's the uniform speed of the courts. Variety is missing from modern tennis. The 20-time Grand Slam champion argued that the solution lies in bringing back fast and slow courts to test players differently. I think that's why we as tournament directors need to fix it. We need to have not only fast courts, but also super slow ones. What we want to see is Carlos Alcaraz or Jannik Sinner try to figure out on lightning-fast surfaces, and then see them again on really slow courts. That's where you get fascinating matchups. Federer reminisced about an earlier era in tennis, where rankings were influenced by surface variety. Back in the day, only 12 tournaments counted, so everybody chose their favorite surfaces. You'd get these amazing matches where an attacker would face a retriever. Those were classics because the contrast in style made every point unpredictable. Now, everybody plays more or less the same way because the conditions don't change. The risk of one-style tennis. Federer's concern is clear. The game risks becoming too predictable. Today's elite players, like Sinner and Alcaraz, are so well-rounded that slower surfaces only play into their hands. Instead of seeing contrasting strategies, fans often get mirror-image rallies played on courts that behave almost identically, whether it's Paris, London, or New York. Every week is basically the same, Federer added. That's why you can win the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open playing in exactly the same way. It didn't used to be like that. Why tournament directors slow courts down? Federer also offered his theory on why chiefs have moved towards slower courts. I understand the safety net that tournament directors see in slowing surfaces. For the weaker player, it makes it much harder to upset the stars. Against someone like Sinner, you have to hit unbelievable shots over and over just to have a chance. But on a quicker surface, a lower-ranked player might blast a few at the right time and score an upset. In other words, slowing conditions protect the dominance of big names. Tournament directors, Federer suggested, like the idea of ensuring marquee finals featuring players like Alcaraz and Sinner. Big names mean higher ratings, bigger sponsorship deals, and more ticket sales. But while that works for business, Federer warns it may be hurting the sport's competitive edge. Federer's vision for the future. For Federer, the solution is simple but powerful. Bring back true diversity in court speeds. Imagine Alcaraz on a lightning-fast indoor court, struggling against a heavy server. Now picture Sinner grinding out on clay, forcing to long, punishing rallies. The very best players would still rise to the top, but fans would see them tested in wildly different ways. That's the kind of variety Federer believes tennis desperately needs to keep fans engaged and to preserve the essence of the sport. Why Federer's words carry weight. When Roger Federer speaks, the tennis world listens. Not only is he one of the most decorated players in history, but he's also one of the sport's most respected ambassadors. As a co-founder of the Laver Cup, his role isn't symbolic. He directly influences the event setup. By criticizing the uniformity of court conditions, Federer is admitting that even he could have pushed for more variety sooner. That honesty, combined with his legendary career, gives his words serious weight. Tournament organizers across the ATP and Grand Slam boards will no doubt take note. Conclusion: will tennis listen? Federer's demand strikes at the heart of a debate that has been bubbling beneath the surface for years. Should tennis courts be standardized to ensure consistency? Or should they vary dramatically, forcing players to adapt and giving fans contrasting battles of style? For now, Federer has put the issue back on the table. The question is whether tournament directors will respond, or whether the game will continue to drift toward one-size-fits-all conditions. What's certain is this. If Federer gets his way, tennis fans could soon witness a revival of the thrilling stylistic clashes that once defined the sport's greatest eras.